Okay, I'm making my lunch. So I'm replying to Grandma Knows. So I was trying to, I typed you out this big message and it just like lost it. And I don't know, my computer's doing weird stuff. So it's kind of strange because it's never done that. I do believe that there are, Paul talks about, first of all, I'll say this. When I first started learning TM, there was a lot of, I started kind of looking into it. And, whenever you learn something new, you always get feedback from people saying, oh, that's bad, that's bad. And especially something like meditation, it has a lot of negative connotations. And so what I was going to say is I heard about this lady who started meditating and she started seeing spirits. They weren't doing anything to her. They were just kind of hanging out with her. Like they'd be in her room, just kind of like hanging out, sitting on the edge of the bed or something weird like that. And it totally freaked her out. And so when that happened, she, quit meditating and she became a born again Christian and all that stuff. And so, what I would say, I mean, I don't know what specific thoughts you're having, but this is this is my take, and take it with a grain of salt because I don't know very much. But I think that you know there are dark entities, there are evil entities that are trying to hold us at a lower level of consciousness, and when we start to raise our consciousness, we can look at it a couple different ways, and maybe they're the same thing, maybe they're not, maybe they're different, but there's two aspects to it. I believe that there are dark forces. I mean, if we believe there's angels and we believe there's good beings that are assisting us, then it would make sense that there are dark entities and dark energies that are trying to pull us down and hold us at a lower level of energy. So, I mean, that makes sense to me. And I've heard stories, I've read books. Yogananda talks about it in his book. One of his disciples talks about it in his book. Another guy, a couple of his disciples, of Yogananda's disciples, wrote books, and they described being attacked by dark entities, dark forces when they were rising up to higher levels of consciousness. Is it a prerequisite to rising to higher level consciousness? I don't know. Is it just their individual situation? I have no idea, and I don't know what to tell people. But the other aspect of it, I believe, is that, we have these samskaras, we have these recordings, if you will, that have been locked down into our system. And they've been locked down to our system because we've been through trauma and stress and being in a physical environment, a very worldly environment. We get these stresses. We could just call it stress, but it's like baggage. We talk about our baggage, and when you start to rise up, when you're what I believe, I'm just trying to tell you what I totally believe, and it could be totally wrong. But I believe as we start to open our heart, and this heartfulness is helping to open that heart center, there are going to be pieces of baggage that start to get jettisoned. And maybe those are what's manifesting as your thought that you're having. And it could be negative stuff because, I mean, it's not rainbows and unicorns, You're getting rid of trauma. You're getting rid of scarring, deep scars that could be from your past lives. They could be intergenerational. They could be part of the DNA that you inherited from your ancestors. We're processing these some scars. And this is why the cleaning process is so awesome. And Paul always talks about the cleaning process too, about how really it's the most important part because we're allowing those some scars to rise to the surface and be removed when we visualize the smoke coming off of this and then the light energy coming in and kind of washing things clean. And that process, in my opinion, should be enough to get you through whatever it is you're having happen. I mean, I would say the meditation, it's like I was talking about in my other video, is it gives us the ability to have loving detachment. So if we have positive thoughts, we can have a loving detachment. If we have negative thoughts, we can have a loving detachment. Now, like I was saying before, it doesn't mean we get to be lazy. If I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm worrying about, whatever, and it's because I haven't, done the things I needed to do in my daily activities, I've been sitting around watching TV and, and doing stuff I shouldn't have been doing. And I neglected the things I was supposed to do, then I need to take care of that. And those negative thoughts will go away, right? I mean, if I have a bill that I haven't paid and I lay there in bed and worry about the bill I haven't paid, I could just get up and pay the bill and quit worrying about it. If it's out of your control, then that's why I was talking about thinking about, remembrance, thinking about God, thinking about the divine, thinking about, let me get my potato cooking, getting your, attention focused off of that other stuff and focused on God and focused on the divine. And that's what this spiritual path is it's directing us back onto the path, because these negative thoughts are trying to pull us off the path, and I don't know what your thoughts are, but I'd be really interested to talk to you. And if you want to talk sometime, I'll give you my phone number. But I don't know what's going on, but I do believe those two things are at play. I believe there's dark energies that are trying to hold us back, and I also believe that a lot of it is old baggage. So a lot of these, spiritual attacks and things like that, I think they are real, but they're so weak in comparison to that godly energy. They're so totally weak. This godly energy, they just run screaming from it. So if we bring and invite more of that godly energy into us, and we use our mind like a rudder on a ship, so we want to use our mind to help us navigate back out into that stream of godly energy, that godly consciousness. Sometimes we get pulled over into the eddies and we have to work real hard, right? Everything seems hard, life seems difficult, because we're over in the eddies and they're spinning around and creating all this turbulence. We want to just gently steer ourselves back out into that stream of consciousness. And the best way to do that I think, from my experience, is remembrance. And so that's all I have. That's my 2 cents. If you have more you want to talk about, I can put my email in there if you want to contact me. Thanks.